Across to others pile, the news which you got as first, yesterday itself actually, that the Prime Minister is going to be the first speaker.
Yes, the Prime Minister in fact will be initiating the discussion as far as on India's glorious 75 years of parliamentary history, because he is the leader of the Lok Sabha. Similarly, since Piyush Goyal is the leader of the House in the Rajya Sabha, he is expected to initiate the discussion over there. It's going to be very interesting what the Prime Minister really says, because there has been a lot of allegations on his government that you've finished democracy is in danger, blah 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 blah. So all of that, will he counter that? I'm sure it's going to be a politically ridden speech, given the fact that it is happening right ahead of the Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan and Chhattisgarh election. Even though it's all about Amritkal, it's all about India's democracy, contribution of every party, contribution of every leader to Indian democracy as well. So it's quite an exciting thing to watch out for. But before that, you have to wait and see what the Prime Minister says when he speaks to us at 10:15 in the morning. Will he say anything? Because last time around Pallavi, he spoke about Manipur. He condemned the incidents of violence against women in Manipur. Will he give us any hint whatsoever that why is this khas session and not as like a normal session? That remains to be seen.
Pallavi Payal, last time when he spoke, that 30 seconds of his speech on Manipur only was raked up by the opposition, and they said, why did you speak outside, why did you not speak inside? This time he's speaking inside. He's leading that debate on 75 years of democracy. So the Congress spokesperson, tell us, the Congress, the opposition, will you allow the Prime Minister to speak? Listen to him. Since you have been insisting, why is the Prime Minister not inside the House?
Well, he's going to speak on the last 75 years of Indian democracy. I think it will be reduced to the last 9 years of some sort of empty words by the Prime Minister of what he's done and not done. I mean, it's just a ruse. 75 years is not going to happen because they have a shameful history of the past 75 years. Look, I think the larger question is the BJP has infantilized the entire democratic procedure. It's like they're playing hide and seek with the government. Why the veil of secrecy all the time? What does it mean? I mean, after all, if you keep things a secret, how does it benefit Indian democracy? They've all been doing it all the time, taking the opposition, ambushing the opposition at a dangerous cost to Indian democracy. It's not even about the opposition. We know what they're doing to it. We know that we're not allowed to speak. There are interruptions. Words are expunged. That continuously happens. I can show the disregard of the Prime Minister for the opposition in the way the name calling by the Prime Minister of the India Alliance. I mean, he goes around the world critiquing the opposition. The opposition hasn't dropped down from Mars. It is a product, it's a function of democracy. It has come down from the people. The way he ridicules it all the time is for the record. You know it more than me. But I think the parliamentary procedure itself has been made so puerile. It's absolutely ridiculous. There's nothing to say. Even in this parliament, I just want to ask you, is there a point agenda? The government says that no, we don't have to disclose it. But there is a particular tradition. You've dispensed with the question hour, you've dispensed with the 0 hour, so you cannot take questions, ground questions to the Prime Minister, and you can't hold the Prime Minister or this government accountable.
Right.
You can't hold a mirror to this government. So what are you going to do?
But Anshul, when he talks about the 75 years of democracy, I'm second guessing he's going to talk about what he's going to call the dark days of a democracy, which is the emergency days.
Yeah. So we know what he's going to say. So he's not caught up by surprise. I think the only thing is we don't know what the agenda is, even if there is one. The 75 years of Indian democracy.
No, but the emergency days is something which is going to hurt the Congress party. You think
so? It's purely rhetorical, right? So you call a special session purely to critique the opposition. That is why you called it. The invocation of that is purely for that reason. I mean, isn't this the joke of Indian parliamentary process?
Nikhil, you're laughing. I mean, but this is a question being asked that even the BJP senior leadership may not be aware as to what really is the purpose of this special session.
My friend just talked about 75 years, and we think that the parliament has been called only to criticize the 75 years. Oh my God, you're already aware of the fact that you did not do anything in those years when you were in power, my friend. I mean, apart from the dark days, Congress would have something in the box that would have developed the nation, and they might just second guess again that the Prime Minister would be talking about that the parliament is going to discuss about the 75 years is a long duration. It's not only about the dark days. Why are you so scared about that? And yes, maybe the majority is with the dark days, which is why they're probably scared that, okay, they'll be exposed once again. And as far as the emergency part is, considered. I really think that they've already highlighted that in few days, and the people of the nation have got to know that they're completely repeating what has happened in 1975. That's exactly what has happened few days back then when they boycotted 14 anchors. So that's something you've highlighted. I don't think so we need to do that anymore. However, the achievement of 9 years, I think the people are much aware of it. They have already seen that what kind of development has taken place. Probably you would not, see Chandrayaan and G20 and 370 as the achievement, but the people of India has, and they've accepted with the grace, and which is why they were forced to make an alliance of different parties. And till yesterday, who were playing like Jani Dushman wanted to play Hum Saath Saath Hai from today only because they were scared, because they know that they cannot beat it, being a singular party. So I don't think so that the opposition needs to discuss this, because however, like I said, that they've always staged a boycott from these serious and important discussions. So when you talk about democracy, it's very important for you to be able to be in the parliament and have a fair discussion instead of always politicizing the issue and walking out.
Anshula, I wanted to...
I'm just saying that, discuss emergency ad nauseum. If you don't, history will judge us. What emergency reminds us is the fragility of democracy and how it must be protected at each stage. That is what is happening at the moment, right? We need to protect and safeguard our democratic institutions. I don't think the government is doing that by these blind calls, by this hide and seek, by this ambush. It's absolutely absurd. I mean, the entire India is under a cloud of secrecy. Nobody knows, even the BJP leaders don't know why the session has been called, what is the exact purpose, is this how things are going to work? I mean, what is the purpose of it? The elections are coming up, fine, if you want to set an agenda, if you want to use the floor of the House for creating an election propaganda, well then, you can do it anytime you want. You've got enough, platforms to do it. But I think discussing emergency is being discussed enough. If that is the reason why you want to do it, I do think you're absolutely right. I think that the Prime Minister's speech will be nothing but a critique of the opposition in the most vile and the most tacky and kitsch kind of way. The kind of words he uses is completely unacceptable to me in a democracy. I don't think it's acceptable. Please do it. It's your democratic right to go after the opposition. I mean, you're the government in power. You've been there for 9 years. Please tell us, instead of these fraudulent figures that you keep bringing out, that there are 13.5 crore people have been taken out of poverty, when you haven't even conducted a poverty survey, a consumption expenditure survey, which is essential for bringing out poverty.
We'll give you a moment. Payal has a breaking for us. Payal is just breaking about the Prime Minister's speech. Payal.
I've just received an official confirmation from the government saying the Prime Minister will speak in the Lok Sabha at 11 o'clock. So obviously, the source-based information that we had as of yesterday, that the Prime Minister will initiate a discussion on 75 years of parliamentary history. That's officially confirmed now. So it's going to be important to see, like the guest was saying, let's really watch out and see what the Prime Minister says, because obviously it's going to be a bit of a statesman like of a speech also, because he's had a contribution to make to the cause of the country as a Chief Minister. He's been elected as a Chief Minister multiple times. He's elected as a Prime Minister to the world's largest democracy. Let's see what he says. Let's keep guessing.
But Anshul, I also want to know this thing, because somewhere down the line he's going to talk about Bharat, the whole idea of Bharat, Bhartiyata. Does the Congress party have a problem with the word Bharat? Because yesterday in Rahul Gandhi's speech in Hyderabad, I heard him mention the fact that Bharat Mata ko badhana chahiye. So you don't have a problem with the word Bharat. So why was the fuss created otherwise?
There was no fuss that was created. I mean, in my own visiting card, I have Bharatiya Rashtriya Congress. When it's written in Hindi, it's there in we never even thought about it. It was used interchangeably. One is used for the other. It depends on the context and the situation. I don't understand what the problem is. The problem, you know very well what it is. That when the alliance, the opposition alliance is called India, then the Prime Minister was hell-bent on abusing it in whatever manner he thought possible. All kinds of weaponry was used, all kind of vile language, words, Gamandia. I mean, can you imagine the Prime Minister using such words, comparing it to a terrorist organization? It's unimaginable. Right? Okay, even if you go abroad and critique the opposition, well, you did it in Bali, by the way. When we go abroad and say that, listen, Indian democracy is in danger, and we've been highlighting that, then, there's a huge hue and cry. I mean, the critique of this government is considered a critique of this nation, the critique of the Prime Minister.
Right.
The two are
Right, I'll just mention it again. Payal just got us the information. Pallavi Aman also have this information. The Prime Minister is going to speak at 11 o'clock. So when the House convenes in Lok Sabha, Prime Minister will lead the discussion on 75 years of democracy. In Rajya Sabha, it will be Piyush Goyal. Aman, you hazard a guess that not just emergency, he could also speak about Sanatan Dharma, what the DMK has gotten the India alliance into.
Absolutely, he's already spoken about it politically in one of the election-bound states, and I think that is something that the PM would touch upon definitely in his speech. Sanatan Dharma is a controversy, which not just attacking the DMK, also cornering the entire India alliance.